Hey guys, this is Coach Sean, and if you suffer with lower back issues, this is the Coach Sean On episode you do not want to miss. So in this video we're going to be going through exercises that I've done that's helped me with my lower back issues, and I'm sure it will help you with your lower back issues as well. Before we get into the exercises, if you're in absolute chronic pain with your lower back, this alone is not going to help. You're going to need to go to a physio and help getting that loosened out a little bit. But if you're starting back training or you're doing a little bit of training, every now and again your lower back is bothering you a little bit, then I definitely recommend doing some of these exercises in the video. And with that out of the way, the very first exercise I do in my warm-up is back extensions, just slowly on the ground, pushing myself up, holding for a count of 10, lowering myself right back down. And once I start to find that's a little bit easy and my back starts to loosen out, I bring my hands in a little bit closer to the body, pushing the lower back, pushing myself up nice and high while still keeping my hips on the ground, just really pushing up, feeling that in my lower back, holding for 10 seconds, doing 5-6 reps of that. And what we're doing now with that exercise, it was just easing into it and just working on mobility of the spine just a small bit, because what may have happened to cause you lower back issues, and I say may because everyone's a little bit different, but usually it's a weakness in our core muscles that's caused a problem there in the lower back, and also a tightness in our lower body that's really pulling down on our spine. So our adductors, our glutes, even our quads and hamstrings will play into effect as well. So it might be tightness down there, and that be causing our pelvis to tilt, and we'll talk on that in a little bit, but that could be causing that, which in turn could be causing pain in our lower back as well. Also, believe it or not, having the right shoes can help as well with your lower back issues. Okay, I'm probably not the best one to go to when it comes to shoes. You know me, I love my J's. But moving swiftly on into different exercises, talking about the lower body and loosening that out. An important thing to do is our glute stretches near the start of our workout. So really work, lie down on our back, really work on stretching out the glutes. If we lie down, shoulders back, bringing one knee up and slowly twisting our knee over across our body while keeping the shoulders on the ground. Really feeling that in our glutes. Just hold for around 10-15 seconds and changing leg from there. If you're finding you're not getting as much of a stretch, just cross the legs as we would sitting down in an armchair. Pull your opposite leg into you, hold for around 5 to 10 seconds. From there, you'll really feel a stretch in the glutes. Switch over the opposite side, do the exact same thing. Once we've stretched out the glutes, we can do a little bit more mobility here at this stage, and we're going to do an exercise called a bent knee iron cross. So what you're doing is you're spreading your hands out wide, making sure our shoulders are touching the ground at all stages throughout this exercise. Slowly bring your knees over to one side, hold for a split second, slowly over to the middle, back over the opposite side, doing the exact same thing, over and back, going for roughly 10 reps on each side. So the back extension exercises and the glute stretches, they should be involved in every single warm-up you do. Ideally, you'd add more time onto your warm-up now. Obviously, the main thing you should be concerned with is protecting your lower back. So what I'd recommend to do is get a foam roller to really loosen out the lower limbs, because I was saying earlier, the lower limbs have a tendency to pull on our spine, and that's what could be causing your issues in your lower back. So get a foam roller, really loosen out the quads, the hamstrings, the calves, and if you find you're not getting as much from the foam roller, what I like to use is a sliotar underneath pretty much your backside, slowly moving around that. It's an absolute killer, but it really helps loosen out your glutes. And speaking of an absolute killer, if you're an absolute misogynist, a great thing to do to loosen out your adductor muscles is called basically get the barbell and pretty much push along the adductors. Trust me, it's an absolute killer. Oh, nice of Columbus, that hurts. but it's also a really good exercise to do. Helps you really loosen up your core muscles. And one thing we should be focusing on after that is start working on our pelvic tilt. So basically, everything we do, we should have a neutral spine. So a straight line from our head pretty much to our hip bone. And with some of us, we can have what's called an anterior pelvic tilt. So our pelvis is just tilting out too much. So we want to really start working on tucking the hips in, right back out. Hips in, right back out. So you've got pretty much two bones here. You're trying to push that up into your rib cage and slowly loosen out. So if you can lie down on the ground and slowly move those hips over and back. So we can do 10 to 15 reps of just slowly moving the pelvis up and right back in. Try not to contract our core too much. Obviously our core is going to be tight, but just concentrate on really just segmentalizing the hips and slowly push in, right back down. From there, we can move on to a glute bridge, and what we're doing is the exact same position. Start with that anterior pelvic tilt, and then from there, you're going to slowly lift one vertebrae up at a time, pushing your hips right up, hold for a split second, and then slowly one vertebrae right back down onto the ground, and repeat for 10 to 15 reps. If you're feeling any pain or any pull in your lower back, do not do this exercise. And remember, once again, nice and slowly, you're almost peeling off one vertebrae at a time, going up and right back down. So once you're feeling no pain in your lower back when doing these exercises, you can move on to more core exercise, more Pilates type stuff. I'm not going to get too much into Pilates exercises. That's not really my field, but I would recommend you doing them. But here's a very simple exercise we can do. Is once again, lie on your back, bring your head up off the ground, tucking getting that anterior pelvic tilt once again. That allows your lower back to be flat and you're not getting any extra strain on your lower back. From there, slowly lift one leg up at a time. Now, the easier version of this is just to bring one leg down as if you're putting your foot into water, for example. Right back up, getting your foot as close as we can to the ground, up, slowly moving over and back, going for around, I'd say, 10 to 12 reps on each leg. As long as you're not really overdoing it, you're finding it's really difficult to maintain form. If your lower back starts to arch, stop the exercise completely and rest, recuperate, and do a little bit less reps the next time. Once you're able to do that, we go on to our bicycle kicks. Now our bicycle kicks are not going as fast as we can, moving the elbows, kicking the legs forward and back, going for as many as we can in a certain amount of seconds. That's not what we're doing here. That's not going to work our core, and you look ridiculous doing it too, so do not do that. So what you're going to do instead is you're lying down, once again that pelvic tilt, getting your head up off the ground, keeping that lower back flat, one leg raised up at a time. You're slowly going to bring one foot out as close as you can to the ground, back into the starting position, slowly move the opposite leg out, and right back from there. Aiming for around 10 to 12 reps on each leg. If you're after you're able to do that, move on to our planks, especially our side plank. Our side plank is a great exercise here for working the muscles, the core muscles, especially around the lower back. When we're doing this exercise though, make sure your hips are neither too high nor too low. There's a straight line from your head onto your heel. So we should be aiming to hold those side planks for 20, 30, 40 seconds on each side, really working the muscles in the core, strengthening them up, preparing them for our main workout. And in our main workout, what we really need to focus on is having that pelvic tilt, so we don't have our anterior pelvic tilt, so we don't have a big curve down our lower back. And a great way to check this is by getting a dowel or a brush and putting it onto our back and making sure that there's 3 points of contact between our head, our upper back and our hips. And that's what we need to do. Maintain that neutral spine through all the exercises we do. Our squats, lunges, no matter what it is, we should have that neutral spine. Our core nice and tight. Make sure there's not an anterior pelvic tilt and that, so the hips are not popping out. No curve in our lower back at all. I would ease off doing barbell squats and deadlifts for quite a while if you are suffering with your lower back. They can be great exercises, but you want to make sure your form is 100% to do those exercises. And there's so many other exercises you can do to build back up your strength before doing those exercises. And they're not bad exercises, they're great exercises, but you want to make sure your form is spot on, especially if you're suffering your lower back. Otherwise, you probably will make it worse. And that's pretty much it for me. I hope you guys got some great tips, great exercises to do, and hopefully they work for you if you are suffering lower back issues. I know because I have been, I currently am, so I really do feel your pain on this one. And that's it from me, from Coach Seán. Take care.